Welcome to the Hudson Show. Coming up, the hot new replacement for pickleball. Also, the lesson I learned from the Celtics winning the championship. All that and more on the way next. It is the Hudson Show from RadioU. You know, for all of the hype around van life that you see if you're scrolling through TikTok or Instagram, there's tons of folks who say it's great, I love it, whatever. There's also a darker side of it. See, I found this story that in cities where the rent for actual apartments is already super high, what you're finding is people that are kind of forced into van life, whether they live out of their cars, trailers, motorhomes, or whatever. But here's the thing you don't think about. If you want to live out of one of those things full time, living out of a sedan that's not outfitted for being a dwelling is just not going to work. Therefore, you need to upgrade. You need to go with something that has probably the space, the plumbing, whatever it is, the equipment that you need to at least be able to live out of it somewhat comfortably. And so what's rising up is not landlords, but van lords that are renting out these vehicles to people so that they can live out of them. And meanwhile, they're charging almost as much as they would if you had an apartment. It's ridiculous. It's actually crazy. And it sucks for these people that have to go through this, that are forced into this situation, because you're thinking about it and they're paying almost as much as they would for an apartment for all of the negatives of an apartment plus way less space. It's the Hudson Show. Hope everybody had a wonderful Father's Day weekend. I know for me, spent some time with Dad. We are going out for a barbecue meal, but pro tip here for Father's Day. Probably should have shared this, I don't know, maybe before Father's Day. But me and my dad both like barbecue. Barbecue is like the one kind of restaurant that runs out of food if it's busy. And so while usually I still think, go out on Father's Day, what's the big deal? Just wait. Restaurants are going to be busy. What? You wait a little longer. It's a part of the experience, but not barbecue, because then you'll just wind up not being able to order what you might actually want. So coming up here in a few days, my dad and I will get the barbecue we're looking for Father's Day. But the other thing I did over the weekend was hang out at the pool. It's the first real pool weekend of the summer, and I got sunburned in a ridiculous fashion. You know me, if you came and saw me right now, I'm fairly tan from the parts of me that are normally exposed. I do a lot of walking and whatever. My arms, my face is tan, but underneath the shirt, not so much. And so I was hanging out at the pool over the weekend, shirt off, of course. And so the parts that maybe I guess some would call a farmer's tan, that is burned. I have a sunburn. It's mild, but a sunburn from about my elbow to my shoulder. And then what's crazy is it cuts off like halfway down my chest above the belly button. Somewhere between the nipples and belly button is the sunburn cutoff. And that is because I was standing in the shallower end of the pool, so covered by the water above just above the belly button. So a ridiculous. It looks like I'm wearing a pink cutoff shirt if I take my shirt off. Let me know what you watched this weekend, because it's time for our Monday tradition. It's the box office breakdown here on the Hudson Show, looking at what made money and what didn't in theaters over the weekend. We'll start with what definitely did make money over the weekend in a Hudson Show prediction that has come true. Inside Out 2 made $155 million, and that's just in North America over the weekend. A huge weekend for Inside Out 2. Pixar is back, baby. It's good again. Woo! Wolf howl. Yeah, it did very well, and signs are good for it just continuing to make money because, first of all, kids movie. You know who doesn't care as much about going to see something the first weekend, or maybe also cares about seeing something a million times over? Kids. So Inside Out 2 probably going to continue on making money. In addition, it has fairly good reviews. So just watch for Pixar to continue on making a lot of money with this thing. And I am actually going to go see it tomorrow. I have my tickets. I wanted to see it, but not enough to pay full price. So $6 Tuesday is where you'll find me at Inside Out 2. Now, something else that still made a solid amount of money at the box office over the weekend is Bad Boys Ride or Die. That made another $33 million. It's now over $100 million total in North America, which is pretty solid for a movie from a franchise that I think a lot of us had forgotten about. Apparently not, because we were excited to get back out there and see it, evidently. Number 3 at the box office, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. That made $5 million. Then the Garfield movie, and then The Watchers, rounding out your top 5. What did you see over the weekend? Go ahead and let me know at 8772 Radio U. Hey, look, Greg just chimed in. He says he watched the Gene Wilder documentary. You know, Willy Wonka, Young Frankenstein, all that. I think that was on Netflix. I remember talking about that. I did not get to see that, but Greg says it was good. Thanks for chiming in, Greg. For me, what did I watch? I watched School of Rock, one of Jack Black's first big movies. And looking back at it now, or watching it now, the premise is ridiculous. It is a ridiculous premise. Jack Black is a guy who is obsessed with having a rock band. It's not working out for him. He needs to make money. And so he is somehow able to pose as a substitute teacher at like one of the most prestigious elementary schools in the state. And he just gets away with that. In the movie, I don't know, how much do you want me to spoil School of Rock that came out, 20 years ago? But like he gets caught at the end and there is no consequences because the kid's like rocking. But if that happened in real life, that's ridiculous. He'd wind up in jail. He'd probably wind up in a pretty bad jail. But because it's School of Rock, he's able to get away with it. However, it's worth suspending all your disbelief because it actually, like the rock scenes, it's partially because of Jack Black, but they actually like really hit. And it's pretty funny. So I enjoyed that. A new report has come out that has found that not just in the United States, but also in Japan and much of Europe as well, Gen Z is drinking way less alcohol than previous generations that have gone before it. There's been a sharp decline in alcohol consumption among even those who are legally able to drink, but in a younger generation, we just don't drink as much as the people that came before us. Now, why is that? Some experts are theorizing that it's because younger folks are now more aware of the negative effects of alcohol, whether it be on their health or, otherwise. They're more aware of these issues. And I appreciate the credit that they're giving us here. But at the same time, I find it hard to believe that we've suddenly become more moral as a society, as a generation, that we finally figured it out. They're like, oh yeah, maybe we shouldn't. I mean, I appreciate the compliment that they're just saying, yeah, we're, young folks are a little wiser, but I'm not sure that that's what it is. I feel like maybe we just, can't afford it. There's cheaper vices out there that people are taking advantage of in this economy. But either way, I guess that's a good news. We're not abusing alcohol as much as some who came before us. If you're like me, you can't be bothered to work out, but you do burn your calories by getting hot girl walks in. I do it every day here at lunch at Radio U. I go on a hot girl walk. I've got a new research here that could be a game changer for you. Researchers at the University of Massachusetts Amherst have found a way to increase your calories burned while you're still just walking. How do you do it? They say by taking non-uniform strides. An uneven cadence could be the key for you to burning even more calories. So you don't have to necessarily put more effort in, but just taking longer steps and shorter steps. You're just kind of switching everything up every few seconds actually burns much more calories, which is great news for me. Now my hot girl walks at lunch. You're going to see me out there, passersby, going to watch me going all SpongeBob, stepping on the beach. And you know what, though? I'm going to be burning calories. It's just a bunch of cheap walk cycles. I can't get through the show without saying this. Congratulations are in order to the Boston Celtics on their NBA championship win last night. They earned it. Congratulations to them. I think I made the wise decision in going to bed at halftime because I needed a good night's rest before I got to see Jason Tatum's cringy celebration. And I'm still with What Up RG tweeted out last night, Mavs in 8. Yes, I'm still a Celtics. I'll even take on the title. I'm a hater. I'm a hater of the Celtics, but credit where it's due. They won the championship. Good for them. And I'll say, I feel like the Celtics have taught me something. something that I guess a lesson maybe I've been slowly learning and maybe now finally ready to accept. And that is that there are teams and players in all sports that get this kind of headline about them, this cloud that hangs over them. It's like, yeah, they're good, but they can't win the big one. They don't mentally have it when it comes to a big game. And I think that's really been proven wrong between the Celtics, between Messi winning the World Cup, Xander Schauffele winning a major earlier this year in golf, going back a few years in baseball when the Dodgers, Clayton Kershaw got a World Series. Like there's these players and teams that's just like, well, they can't win the big one. They're good, but they can't win the big one. I think that makes a better story than actually reality, where the truth is, if you're so good that you're in it over and over and over again, eventually you're going to get it. And it's not a mental thing. It's just, it's hard to win a championship. That said, I still hate the Celtics. Don't like them. Don't think they're as good as other champions, but they did teach me a lesson. And a championship is a championship. So what do you want to say? Look, we are pretty much all aware, right, of the downsides of using social media. But if the Surgeon General of the United States has his way, we may be getting a reminder of that every single time we log in. He wants to put a warning label on social media when you log in, similar to warning labels that you would see on cigarettes, which started way back in 1965. Like I said, we all know about the downsides, right? So I don't know if this will make a big difference, but then again, back in 1965, there was probably some dumb morning show host going, we all know about the downsides of cigarettes. Some warning label isn't going to make a big difference. Yeah. In Luling, Texas, about an hour from Austin and San Antonio, the world's largest Buc-ee's has just opened up. It is about 75,000 square feet in size. For reference, a frame of reference, a football field is about 57,000 square feet. So it's got that beat by a long shot. The biggest Buc-ee's ever. It's got 120 spots for you to gas up. And of course, then it's got the inside as well, which is, we're talking 75,000 square feet. That's not a convenience store. That's not a gas station. That's a Walmart that happens to have gas pumps. And I mean, it makes sense. I'm glad that the new Buc-ee's, that's the largest in the world. It only makes sense that it's in Texas because that's where Buc-ee's is from. And everything's bigger in Texas, of course. But there's one reason I'm upset that it just opened. And that's because I am going to Tennessee later this year. I'm going to be able to have my first in-person Buc-ee's experience at the Sevierville, Tennessee location, which was the largest until this one just opened. So now I'm not going to get to go to the largest Buc-ee's ever. Look at you right now. If you're not a procrastinator, you're probably sitting there on your high horse thinking, yeah, I get things done. Look at those procrastinators sitting around waiting till the last minute or even later. Fools they are. You probably have a real sense of confidence about yourself because you aren't a procrastinator. Well, let me steal that right away from you, because psychologists have kind of coined a new term for the exact opposite of a procrastinator. Of course, procrastinators put everything off until the very end, until the last minute, and then try to rush to get it done. But if you're not a procrastinator, you might be a precrastinator who, instead of waiting till the last minute to get something done, once they know they have to get something done, rush to get it done right away, clean it off of their to-do list right away. But that also has its own negative side effects, according to psychologists, such as using extra energy on a task than you need to if you just spaced it out, paced yourself a little bit, and also rushing to just feel the relief of having something done, because then you're not actually doing the best job you could be doing. So I mean, what's the alternative? You don't want to be a procrastinator. You don't want to be a precrastinator. The happy medium is somewhere in between, of course. But really, I just wanted to make everybody who's not a procrastinator finally feel just as bad as I've always felt all this time. Another food fight in the works here. NayNay. Good morning, NayNay.
Hello! We back! You couldn't get rid of me. But you know what? The sickness tried to really put me down. But it failed. It failed, and we are back.
I think I can already tell you're not sick today.
Yes, thank goodness. Thank goodness.
There was a vast difference. You know what you should do sometime?
What?
You should come in here and do something that's not eat with me.
I do a show in here for a couple hours. Does that count?
No, I mean like with me.
Oh.
I guess it's my show, so I'm in charge. So I'm inviting you some other time.
We can just come in and talk and have fun. Talk about football.
Later on down the road.
And fantasy
do
football.
That doesn't involve eating. But I do have a treat for you today. It's obvious this is from Wendy's. I couldn't hide that.
My old stomping grounds. I used to work there for 4 years, fun fact.
That is a fun fact. So you would probably know how the making of this would go. It's a Frosty, but it's not just any Frosty. This is their new Frosty. First of all, take the lid off of that bad boy and take a whiff.
Give it a smell. Yeah, smells like triple berry for sure. So when I worked at Wendy's, I was the guy that made like all the chicken nuggets and the French fries and stuff.
Yeah.
However,
they didn't let you near the Frosty machine.
Well, the thing was, the Frosty machine wasn't something that like only one person did. It was like anyone. It was like a collective thing. Anyone could kind of use it. And most Wendy's would have 2 different flavor like buckets that you could pour the mix into. They had a vanilla one and then they had a chocolate one. Now, ever since they started getting fancy and trying different flavors, what they've done is they've mixed the vanilla with whatever different flavor they want to use and then have that one. So
then if you just want vanilla, you're out of luck right now.
You're screwed. And that's normally what I like to go and get when I get a Frosty is the vanilla. So I'm out of luck.
Yeah, sorry about it. But here we have, you guessed it, the triple berry. What is you like berries?
I do love berries. We're going to go ahead and try this one. It hasn't melted too much.
No,
but let's see how much
it is so hot out there.
Let's see how much of a flavor we're going to get.
I already took a bite. This is crazy. I'm
going to start levitating.
This is the best flavored Frosty I've had since they started switching things up. You can't levitate too much. You're going off camera.
Woo! Mama, that was good.
This is actually so good. I was not expecting it to be this good. This is not only top tier Frosty, this is a top tier berry flavored junk food.
Is it really junk food? Oh, now I feel bad that I asked for a large.
You want me to bring up the nutrition facts?
So when you went to go and get these, I had a feeling that this was going to be a good one. That's why I asked for a large, because I was hedging my bet that this was going to be a really good food fight. And sure enough, my goodness, my old stomping grounds has come through once again. However, I did not like taking the trash out every night. There was a raccoon that always lived near that trash bin, and it scared every single time.
Raccoon.
It was a smart raccoon, but it was a dumb decision by me to always go out there and throw the thing. I would always stand super far away and be like,
"Yep," like when that SpongeBob episode.
I still haven't watched a lot of SpongeBob. Homeschooled.
Yeah, I guess so. This is, how would you rate? What's the other best berry thing you can think of? For me, wild berry Pop-Tarts.
I'm gonna think,
and this might be better than. This is probably better than those.
I'm going to say some mixed berry cranberry juice or something like that. I don't know.
This is definitely better than whatever you just said.
I can't think of anything.
An Ocean Spray. Sorry to Ocean Spray.
Cranberry sauce? I'll take that.
Ready or not, the replacement for pickleball is here. It's called Pepper Pong, and it's got New Yorkers at least ready to kiss pickleball goodbye. Why? Because Pepper Pong's got everything pickleball's got. Paddles, balls, a net, a makeshift net, a vegetable tie-in. It's got everything, and you don't have to go invade a tennis court to be able to play it. If you want to know about Pepper Pong, it's really a portable version of pickleball. If you bought a Pepper Pong set, it comes with all the balls you need, 4 paddles, and then it's got this little makeshift net that you can set up anywhere you've got a relatively flat surface. I'm seeing people here even playing on the hood of a car. If you're so ready to just play a paddle sport, you can do it this one just about anywhere. I'm much more, I'll tell you, I've never played pickleball in my life. I don't know if I ever will. Pepper Pong, though, if I just knew somebody with a Pepper Pong set, we could set it up right here in the studio and go crazy. Feels like it'd be fun until I lose. I just saw this. An interesting survey has come out that says that about 40% of people worldwide actively avoid paying attention to the news, which is a number that is going up and up and up when this question is asked over the years. People just don't want to pay attention to the news. They want to ignore it completely. And why? Because so much of the news is negative. It's a lot of wars going on overseas. It's a lot of, there's every time you turn, like there's just way more negative than positive stories. There's wars going on. There's all the ways that your government, your bank, your the church, Boy Scouts, like just everything is failing you. The ways that it's let somebody down. That's what the news largely turns into. And when there is a positive story, it's like, oh, somebody rescued a cat. It's not like, oh, here's this amazing thing that's happening for everybody. The news, if you do pay attention to it, it's easy to let it get you real depressed, real upset. And it's easy when you see, if you do even somewhat closely pay attention to the news, to start to lose trust in just about everything, because all of these institutions and these people are letting you down. At least that's what the news lets you believe. Well, I'll say two things. One, I do think, although everybody is going to let you down at some point, each institution, I do feel like because that's what the news thrives on, it's a little overblown. It's not as likely as it actually seems. But two, that God is different than an institution. Many people, because church is included in that. The news reports on all the times that Christians let people down. But that's not who God is. People will fail you. Christians, the church, it's made up of people, but God will not fail you. Jesus, unlike even no matter who you put your trust in that can let you down, God will not. Jesus will be there every single day, taking care of you, loving you, and never, ever going back on his word. There's never going to be a secret that comes out where it's like, oh, wow, I didn't know that about God, and that actually sucks. No, Jesus is up front with you. He loves you. And he's there for you right now. And you can find out about that directly from him, not through the news. Just say, hey, God, I want to know more about you and who you actually are. Show me who you are for real. And he will. If you want to know more, RadioU.com/free gift. Thanks for listening to The Hudson Show. Please don't forget to rate and review the podcast.